captain for the basketball team.
Yeah.
So, it came down to Syracuse and Nebraska for you. You had the chance to play for Tom Osborne. How much did basketball play in your decision to come to Syracuse?
Well, academics also played a major part. I wanted to go into sports broadcasting, and it was one.
Take all of our jobs.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, but you're still living. But the whole thing for me, it was there were a lot of key factors. Obviously, academics was important. Playing basketball was another. But somewhere where I can go and compete. At that particular time, Tommy Frazier, who was a Heisman Trophy candidate and national championship quarterback, was a sophomore at the time and didn't think I was going to go in there and take his job so early. And Marvin Graves was a senior, so at least I had a chance to develop, learn the offense, and be able to compete in a year or so. And that was probably the major factor of going to Syracuse, in which I never regret the decision.
What did you learn from being exposed to Jim Boeheim?
Sometimes to block him out when he's talking to you. Just do what you do. But more importantly, I mean, you learn more about the game as it continues on. If he's teaching it or the assistant coaches are teaching it. I had an opportunity of being under a great staff. Jim obviously led the staff, but I had great players with me. So 96 was a great year for me. We went and lost to Kentucky, which kind of still pissed me off to this day. But I played against a former high school teammate of mine.
That would be Antoine Walker,
Right.
who was with Kentucky, and they won the championship. You got only the fourth double-digit seed to ever reach a Final Four. Tell me, as well as you know Syracuse, why they are better than what the 10 seed says at face value.
Well, first of all, in the beginning of the season, there was a lot of parity anyway in college basketball. I know that people had Kansas and North Carolina early on as the number one team in the country. Obviously, they suffered losses. Oklahoma moved up. All of a sudden, you find Villanova out of nowhere being in the top 5. So it's parity in basketball. We got in, and no matter how we got in. But to be a 10th seed, we were fortunate enough to be in a great bracket. Michigan State ended up losing. And then from that point on, top teams started finding themselves in a bad position because they weren't hitting shots, they weren't rebounding, they were turning the ball over. And you're just not going to win in tournament play if you're turning the basketball over. And for Syracuse, the fortunate thing, everything that they did wrong during the regular season, they're doing right in the tournament. They're playing a 2-3 zone. They're trapping when they need to. They're getting steals. They're not turning the ball over late in games. They're getting the ball in the hands of the guys who's hot at that particular time. And when you do that, you find yourself here in the Final Four.